the Holy Gospel according to Luke.
Glory to you, O Lord.
The scribes and Pharisees said to Jesus, "The disciples of John the Baptist fast often and offer prayers, and the disciples of the Pharisees do the same. But yours eat and drink." Jesus answered them, "Can you make the wedding guests fast while the bridegroom is with them? But the days will come, and when the bridegroom is taken away from them, then they will fast in those days." And he also told them a parable. "No one tears a piece from a new cloak to patch an old one. Otherwise, he will tear the new, and the piece from it will not match the old cloak. Likewise, no one pours new wine into old wineskins. Otherwise, the new wine will burst the skins, and it will be spilled, and the skins will be ruined. Rather, new wine must be poured into fresh wineskins. And no one who has been drinking old wine desires new, for he says, 'The old is good.'"
The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
You know, I don't get to choose the gospel passages that we have, and I think as we work our way through this school year, we're going to find we're going to discover that for ourselves. Many of the most challenging gospel passages that the church offers for our meditation, our reflection, for our edification, are some of the more difficult ones are offered on Fridays, and we'll live with that. But I think this gospel passage is really a good one for us at the beginning of this new school year, because Jesus, in it, we see, is doing something new. And it's ours to embrace what Jesus is doing whole and entire. Sometimes I know whether it's people have this idea, and we spoke of it in class, in one of my classes earlier this week, about cafeteria Catholics, or we just have the idea that, of course, we know best for ourselves, and we're going to pick and choose what we want. Right, just like in a cafeteria, we pick and choose the foods that we like, and we leave behind the ones that we don't. And maybe in the scriptures, right, we would otherwise, this is why it's perhaps good for us to be here together on Fridays where we get the challenging gospel passages, because otherwise we just pick and choose what we consider to be the nice ones, the ones that we like. What Jesus is saying here, we embrace him whole and entire, or we cannot embrace him at all. He's saying he's doing a new thing, and that new thing that he's doing upends the old thing that we're all used to. And he wants us to trust and follow him so that we can not only experience the new world that he is opening up, but we might be part of building it with him as well. Okay, so let me drill down already to the details, because on Fridays, more than any other day, I have a commitment to preaching short homilies. And okay, this is going to be one of them, at least relative to the long homilies that I've been preaching this week. So what do I want to say? I want to say that Jesus is the love of God made flesh for us, and he gives us himself whole and entire, so that in Jesus we can experience the love of God for us. We turn to him now, we open our hearts to God, and in Jesus, we receive all the love of God, all the love that God has for us. And then receiving the love that God has for us, he calls us to live out of that love and bring that love to life for all of the people around us, no matter what the consequences are. And Jesus pulls us away from the old way of doing things, right? The kind of corrupt human way of doing things is to focus on ourselves. And when we focus on ourselves, we try to grow rich for ourselves in any number of ways, whether it's wealth, money, power, pleasure, comfort, right? Success of the like, popularity. And when we're governed by those things and we're looking only to ourselves, we have more and more capacity to hurt other people. But if our whole lives are focused on the love of God, and our whole mission in life is to bring His love to life for the people around us, then we care not for growing in power, pleasure, and the rest, popularity, but we care truly for the people around us. They're not a means to an end for us. They're an end in themselves. Let me give one example. Right? Sometimes when we're gathered together in big groups of people, we like to form hierarchies, right? Like, who's on top? Who's the best? And we could come up with a whole list. Who is the best at this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way down to right the last. And then we think, well, I want to be friends with the best, because then that means that I become more popular. Okay, we've got a list of popular kids. I want to be more popular. I try to be friends with the popular kids. Well, what about the kids at the end? The kids that we might think are unpopular. Are they any less human than we are? Are they any less loved by God than we are? Is God calling us to love only the people who will give us an advantage? Exactly right. He's calling us to love all. Right, so this is the question then. If God is pouring His love into our hearts and He wants us to love Him with the strength of His love, and He wants us to love the people around us with the strength of His love, we have to be on the lookout, my friends, for people who need love. For people, and it may just be us. The people around us sometimes don't notice the needs of other people. But we have to notice the needs of the people that God has put around